Everyone and welcome. In this video I'm going to do a review of my Wahoo KickR Snap. I've had this unit for 3 or 4 months now, so I can give an informed opinion on what the good points are, the bad points are, so that you can decide if you want to buy one or not. I guess I'll split this review up into a few sections, so talk about the hardware, the ways of controlling it, the software, what the good points are and what the bad points are, and then an overall summary at the end. So, let's begin. Okay, so let's talk about what you get when you buy the Wahoo KickR Snap. You get the main unit. It is extremely heavy as far as turbo trainers go. It probably weighs 15 kilos, something like that. It's well made, welds are good. It comes already built like this, you don't have to put anything else together. The wheel block, that's there so that the front wheel is elevated so the bicycle remains horizontal. And the power cord. Now, if you're in the UK, you may want to know that the power cord you get with it is a Euro power cord, but it's not too difficult to run down to the shops and swap it to get the UK power plug, but it's not really that important. Okay, so if we talk about the main unit, because I guess that's the most important thing. The basic principle this works on is you've got the bicycle wheel spinning this knurled surface, or it's knurled now because I've worn it, and that spins a flywheel round. The unit in here I've had some problems with. There's another video about it, about the power problems I've had with that, but that aside, the electronics in here govern the amount of resistance that you achieve, and that's controlled by Bluetooth or ANT+. Roller tension is adjusted on here. That's actually very good compared to some of the other units I've used, and the method of clipping the bike in is this sort of plunger arrangement here with a separate adjuster on the other side. And I have to say, for locking the bike in, this is excellent. I've used some other turbo trainers from the likes of Elite, and their locking system, certainly on the cheaper end, is not that great. So to illustrate the whole method of putting a bike in the Wahoo Snap, I've got my Cervelo, which I usually use for turbo training. I'm just going to put that into the Snap to show you how it works. So literally pull this, put the skewer in the right place, turn it, make sure you miss the Di2 wire, and it's in. Then whip round here, get the tension to 2 turns, and we're good to go. The next thing we have to do is plug the power cord in. So that in there, that around here, and into the wall. That goes under the front wheel. Okay, so I've got the bike already set up in the Wahoo KickR Snap. Front wheel's elevated, it's all plugged in, and if we turn the pedals, there's quite a bit of resistance in there. When you plug it in and don't have anything to control it, it just defaults to a level inside called 2. And there are 10 levels, and it would be kind of no different to if you had a normal turbo trainer just turning the dial around and 10 incremental steps. The Wahoo KickR Snap itself has 3 different modes. So there is slope mode, or resistance level mode, and that's, as I described, the 10 different slopes. There's and that's designed to mimic, you riding on the road. There's also just resistance level, so you can define the amount of braking force that this applies from 0 to 100. So 0 is no resistance, and 100 is 100% brake. At 100% brake, I don't think mere mortals can actually turn the wheels. The final mode, and is the mode which I bought this thing for, is called ERG mode. In ERG mode, you just dial in a power and pedal away, and it maintains the power constantly. So by that, what I mean is, if you are, for example, pedaling along with a power of 200 watts, and then you suddenly increase your cadence, so you're pedaling a bit faster, you'll find the resistance on the back wheel, or the resistance you feel, drops. Conversely, if you are riding along at 200 watts and your cadence drops, the resistance you feel at the pedals will increase, and that's how that works. There are a few issues with this, and for mere mortals, I think they're quite important, and they don't seem to have been highlighted in other videos. Firstly, if you set the resistance level to 0 and then pedal along at a cadence of 90 RPM with gear ratio 54 and 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth one up at the back, maybe 17, 18 teeth, you'll find the minimum power that you can, the Wahoo Snap will put out will probably be about 150 watts. So basically that is the baseline. You can't have any lower power than that. The only way to get around that is to actually shift gears. So you go to the smaller chainring and up the block on the back. Now I don't really like doing that, because when you do that it no longer feels like you're riding on the road. It's more like you're riding through treacle. It just feels completely artificial. So I like to keep it on the big chainring and maybe the third or fourth cog up on the back, and that maintains good road feel. The other thing that needs to be pointed out is the power regulation. And I don't mean power spikes, because that's a separate issue, but the power regulation on this thing is quite poor. What happens is you're riding along and you dial in 200 watts and you might find it fluctuates between 180 watts and 220 watts, and it's much worse at higher wheel speed. So if you're pedaling along with an equivalent wheel speed of 40 k's or something like that, then you might find that power fluctuating. The other thing is those numbers are not consistent, because I've put in a stages power meter on my left crank, pedalled away, and those numbers, if I set them to 200 and pedal along fairly consistently, are good, but the power noted at the back wheel from the Kickr Snap can vary dramatically. So 200 watts on the stages power meter at a cadence of 90 might equate to 180 watts that the Kickr is reading. But if you go to 200 watts and then slightly pedal faster, and maybe 110 cadence, then that can read 210, 220, something like that. It's completely erratic, and that's not something I would endorse this machine for. As far as control goes, let's do a little bit about control, okay? Okay, so the main method of control is via ANT Plus or Bluetooth. The easiest way to do this is with a mobile phone, because they tend to have those things built in. If you go on the Google Play website and get the Wahoo Fitness app, you get something like that, and then if you go over and hit this button, it'll tell you all the ANT Plus and Bluetooth Smart things in the vicinity. Now obviously I've got this Wahoo Fitness Snap enabled, so if you hit it, it gives you various parameters like the power, the speed, the spin down and last advanced spin down. Both of these two parameters are there to calibrate it, and also the firmware version. This is not the latest firmware version, so 2.028 has been well superseded, but the newer firmware is even worse than this one, so I've stuck with this one. After that, after you've done the spin downs or whatever, you can go and hit play, press to play a workout, and then press.
Kickr Snap connected.
Comes up with that. No, I don't want to do a spin down. Hit start, and if you scroll to the right, it comes up with settings. Now we've got resistance, ERG and sim. So in resistance, that's just a brake level from 0 to 100%, so you can put in whatever you like. ERG mode, you can key in the number of watts and then off you pedal. And then sim mode, That is like pedalling in the real world, or it tries to simulate pedalling in the real world. So you've got a slope, so the gradient, and wind speed, and again, off you go. So that's how you control it with a smartphone. It's much the same process with Zwift or with Trainer Road. You just literally plug it in, run the system, and it just takes care of everything for you. So there's nothing to get involved with at all. So let's discard this. So my concluding thoughts for this video on this review are regarding the Snap and would I buy one, and the answer to that is no, not knowing what I know now. I just can't live with the poor power regulation. I think it would be fairly easy to solve with some new firmware, but they haven't released any, and I'm not the only one who has these problems, so I think it's a problem across the board. If you want to use this Turbo Trainer just as a normal unit with the resistance level mode or the slope mode, that's fine, but if you want to use ERG mode, I'd recommend you go somewhere else. If you like this review, please give me a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.